This happened to me when I was 10 years old. It was the start of the new year at school. My friends and I were excited to be in class together again, and be able to hang out during recess in the morning and at lunch. For the sake of this story, I will be naming my friend Alex to hide his identity. Long story short, we aren't friends anymore after this event. Alex invited me over for a sleepover after the first day back to school as a kind of celebration to be back with everyone again. A few hours passed by, and it seemed to be around 10 or so when we heard a knock on the sliding glass door. I asked him if he had heard the sound. He nodded yes. He got up to go see what it was, turn on the light, but nothing was there. I said maybe a stick hit it or something, since it was a windy night. We went back to playing our games, when about 10 minutes later, we heard it again, but a bit louder this time. Now, we were both a little uneasy from this. We turned the game off and we still had the light on. If it was a person, why would they come back to the light for us to see them? But again, when we looked, nothing was there. We went upstairs to tell his mom. His mom did not seem to be too worried, and told us it was maybe an animal. So it was 11 p.m. by this point, so we decided to go to bed. I woke up around 1:30 in the morning, when I heard a knock again at the sliding glass window. But this time, it was very, very quiet. I looked around to see if my friend heard it. He was asleep. I looked at the glass door to see a figure of a man standing there. I went right back under my covers when I heard the glass door start to open. My heart was pounding a mile a minute now. I knew his dad came home late, so I figured it was him. But why would he be coming from the back of the house and not the front? That's when I realized that his dad was going to be out of town tonight. I froze in fear once more. He got into the basement and stood there for what felt like an eternity. But then he left the basement and closed the door behind him. I fell asleep some time after that. When we woke up, I asked Alex if he was indeed out of town last night, and he reassured me that he was. I told him everything, and he didn't believe me. And I kinda got mad at him and asked his mom if she heard anything. She calmly said no. Alex did not seem to believe anything, because he said he would have heard it too. Then I must have been dreaming. Later that week at school, he told a bunch of people that I had a nightmare and freaked out over nothing. After that, I cut ties with Alex, and have not spoken with him since. This happened when I was in high school. This story still to this day is a blur. My friends and I were having a sleepover in my friend's basement. The basement is pretty small too, enough for a couch, a TV, and a bathroom, but enough for a few guys to hang out in. We were all hanging out and having fun when we got a text message on all of our phones saying, "Come out." Now this was a group chat text with an unknown number, but our main concern wasn't the text itself. It was how this person happened to get all of our numbers and knew we were all hanging out together at the same time. Then, all of a sudden, we heard a loud bang at the basement door that was to our right on the couch. We all jumped as this happened. We all looked at each other with confusion and a bit of fear, because it was like midnight or so. None of us moved. Then we heard a voice say, "Come on, come outside." But the voice did not sound familiar at all. But they were saying it as if they knew us, just like a friend would. Then the banging got louder and louder, and the yelling continued. We still just sat there, unsure of what to do in this situation, as we never have been before. Then as quick as it began, it stopped. There was a strange silence for a good amount of time, maybe like 5 minutes or so. We decided to whisper and keep quiet the whole time. Then we resumed what we were doing since we thought the person left. That's when we heard the upstairs window shatter. We all froze. We immediately called the police, and they would be there soon. For a few minutes, we could hear soft footsteps upstairs. Thankfully, we lived near the police station, so we waited no more than 2 minutes. and the relief came when we heard the officers yelling, telling someone to put their hands up. That feeling was truly awesome, and I'm glad we got out of there. Who knows what that man wanted to do with us? My friend Michael and I always slept over at each other's houses during the summer, as we were only 12 at the time and had no other things going on. We loved walking to the nearest convenience store and just talking about life or whatever. We got there and the lady behind the counter gave us a weird look. She said hello, boys, with a strange smile on her face as she said it. We said hello back to be friendly. We got our snacks and went to the counter to check out. That's when she asked for our names. This was strange, as she did not have one herself, but said her name was Mary. She looked to be about 60 or so. We told her our names, too, and we went on with our day. We went back to Michael's house and watched a movie for a while. It was about 6 p.m. when we heard a knock at the door, and the doorbell rang. This was also odd because people do one or the other normally, not both right after another. Then, we heard a familiar voice say our names. It was the lady from the store. How did she know where we were? We ignored her and kept watching the movie. In hindsight, this was really a stupid idea, as we should have called the cops like normal people would when there was a stranger trying to hang out with us. Then, we heard loud banging on the door, and the lady was now yelling at us to come outside or we would regret it. That's when Michael decided to call his dad, as he worked nearby. While he did this, I watched the lady from a window that could see the front porch. She was pacing back and forth like a crazy person. That's when Michael's dad came home. She then noticed him pulling into the driveway and she ran off. Michael's dad asked if we were okay. We said yes. Michael's dad reported the lady to the store. But to our surprise, she did not work there at all. This explained why she did not have a name tag when we got snacks. I'm just glad she didn't get in the house and do God knows what to us.